Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Chatham Select Board meeting of October 4th, 2022. Let the record show the meeting started promptly at 5:30 p.m. Pursuant to Governor Baker's July 16th, 2022 signing of an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, including the extension of his March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until March 31st, 2023, this meeting of the Chatham Select Board is being conducted via in-person and remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in that order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 203-386-491#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Channel 18, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide for real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. Okay, that being said, the first order of business is the roll call of the board, of the Select Board. Mr. Metters?
Present.
Mr. Shell?
Present.
Ms. Davis?
Present.
Mr. Nacastro?
Present.
And the chair is present. And the next order of business is to adopt or approve the minutes of September 27th, 2022. Mr. Shell?
So moved.
Okay.
Second. No.
Mr. Shell?
At the risk of acquiring a reputation as the proofreader of the minutes,
Yes, sir.
I got a couple of things here. Page 4, in the third paragraph, the last full line, she said Grow Smart Cape Cod is holding, that should be an information session.
Yeah.
And then in the last line on that page, the word principal should be a P-A-L.
Very good. Diction.
Page 7, in the middle of the big fat paragraph, the line that starts with bike lanes, about 6 lines down, I think the full sentence there, she noted the, and then I think it should be, that should be the project should be apostrophe S. And then, oh, sorry, on page 9, the second paragraph, the full line, the second full line over on the right, the word where should be were. And then lastly, I'll seek the advice of my colleagues. Throughout, we referred to the preferred plan or preferred design of the Mass DOT. My sense of that meeting was that it was more in the nature of a required design. So if it were me, as I say, if it were me alone, I would change all the preferreds to required.
I can stick with preferred. I'm fine with preferred. Okay.
Fine.
Mr. Nacastro?
Maybe just to add, maybe the phrasing should be reversed. Maybe the phrasing should be reversed and say Mass DOT preferred. It was there. It's preferred by Mass DOT, isn't that? That what you mean?
I mean,
I don't care either way.
I'd leave it alone if you don't want to change, and that's fine.
Cool.
I'd just leave it alone.
Mr. Nacastro, you have one or two? or
Yeah, I
three?
had three quick ones. On page 7, in the third full paragraph, third line, Ms. Myers, was Shauna, was she the other consultant? I didn't know who that was. Okay. So that's okay. Then on page 9, third paragraph, the motion by Mr. Shell, third line, right in the middle, the word contact. I think you might have meant context sensitive. Is that right?
No, I think the word is context.
Context.
Sorry, I missed that one.
Yeah, did I say that? Okay. And then just on the next page, reference to Florence Selden preschool program. I'd like to insert the word, title Dr. Florence Selden.
Oh, good.
That's it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, we have some edits, and a motion and a second. We'll take a vote. Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Shell?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Abstain.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
And the chair says aye as well. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda are public announcements and agenda item requests. Any public announcements out there this evening? I see none here present and physically and/or virtually. I see none. Any agenda item requests here? Mr. Metters?
Yes, please. This is something similar to what Ms. Gibbs has actually requested in the past, but I want to kind of keep it going. Obviously, the weather's starting to change out there, if you haven't noticed, and it's going to probably get worse as the winter rolls on. So I'd like to kind of, at some point, maybe after the budget summit, that's coming up in a couple weeks, to get an update on, our planning for warming stations, charging stations, having the conversation about, any type of higher level type of shelter, whether it be at a municipal property, a school, a community building, just have that discussion. And also include in discussion any type of private entities that might be willing to help out. We had a good meeting the other day with the Redemption Rock Group, and they were looking to help out the community and some of their roles. And some of the things they offered are definitely worth some discussion. So they might be one asset that we might be able to use in this topic, and frankly others they're willing to help us out. So I just want to broaden that conversation a little bit.
Agenda item request.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Very good. Okay. Anybody else out there? Jill, announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Joy Jordan from the Regional School District asked me to announce that the Monomoy Regional School District seeks input for Portrait of a Graduate process, and that it's embarking on the process to create a portrait of a graduate. The creation of a portrait of a graduate will help inform Monomoy educators from elementary school through high school about the skill sets and mindsets today's students and graduates need to be successful in their futures. As part of this process, there will be a number of focus groups held for students, parents, caregivers, staff, and town officials and businesses as well. And the date for the focus group for municipal officials is October 13th. It's a Thursday, along with school committee members. And so she had asked me to forward the invitation to the board. And you received an email. If you want to respond directly to that email too, Joy, that would be great. Thank you.
If we have, we should probably post that. I'm definitely going to go on the 13th, so. Where? At the
sorry, what time is it?
Harwich Elementary School at 6, I think? Was it 6?
Right, Harwich Elementary School Activity Room from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
6:30, yeah. Okay, any other announcements? Seeing none. Next item on the agenda, consider amendments to the water conservation restrictions and drinking water testing and pumping update. Typically, we have Mr. Temple, and there he is live. Mr. Temple, it's all yours. Welcome. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Select Board members. Tom Temple, Director of Public Works. As you know, we're still in level 3 critical drought situation, even though we had a little bit of precipitation today, which was good. Water pumpage for the month of September, we were at 5,860,900, or 12.8% less than the same time last year. Well 4, we're operating at about between 7 and 10 hours a day at 600 gallons per minute into our town's distribution system. And today was the PFAS testing for Indian Hill. As you recall, DEP had granted Chatham waiver to sample the well quarterly due to the past several months not having any detection on that well. Last PFAS sampling for well 5 for the temporary treatment was September 6th. The remaining site work for that project and the fencing is scheduled to be completed over the next few weeks. Temporary system for decommissioning and filter draining will take place mid-October. Well 5, the permanent treatment facility, Weston and Sampson finalized and submitted DEP's approval pilot study application in the coming weeks. Weston and Sampson conducted a pre-application meeting with the planning board and divisions from within the department on September 22nd. And they did submit a 75% design submittal to the town for our review. I am in the process of completing my review on that. With respect to wells 10 and 11, the pumping treatment construction, Robert B. Hour, the site contractor, has completed initial phase of the access roadway construction. The bottom of the building foundation, excavation, and compaction has been formed, and they installed the rebar and bond wiring. Weston and Sampson designed the 12-inch water main for Mill Hill Road, and the shop drawings are in process. So things are moving right along for all the projects, and if anyone has any question, I'll be happy to answer them at this time.
Tom, I have one. Any low-level alarms at all during September?
No, actually, we haven't had a low alarm since August. The people that have been doing their part to conserve water have done a great job, and like I had mentioned, we're literally 12.8% less than the same time last year, which is great. And the fact that we're seeing between 7 and 10 hours a day right now, that's also very, very promising right now to try to keep things in the right direction. So.
Thank you, Tom. Mr. Nacastro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one question, Tom, on the well 5 temporary. You said that there's going to be a decommissioning in mid-October. Is that the decommissioning that would of the temporary system that would make it possible to put in place the permanent fix? Is that what that means?
Well, no. I think we discussed this a little while back that once we got towards the end of October, we would take that offline and then, go ahead and run through and drain the filters and check everything on that. And then if we needed it, we'd have it back up in service. But we planned on taking that offline for the winter months now that the numbers are starting to go lower.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Temple? Okay, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Mr. Barr, for being online as well.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks for your time. The next item on our agenda, public comments on our business agenda. Our business agenda is going to be a little bit less than what it was. The folks who are going to update us on the opioid abatement funds, Katie Lena from the Barnstable County Department of Human Services, cannot be here this evening. She's not feeling well. So we're going to postpone that one. I was looking forward to that. And then, so we have one-day alcohol permits for Mahi Gold. We have a release of some executive session minutes. It was deja vu all over again, going back in time, a little history there. Boy, some of the meetings, pretty interesting. Then we have committee appointments, Traffic Safety Committee and Cultural Council. And then we are going to adjourn the Select Board meeting and convene a meeting of the Affordable Housing Trust for consideration of some issues with respect to the Zero Meeting House. So we're going to have an executive session there. So any public comments on those business agendas forthcoming? I just want to remind folks that we welcome comments prior to discussing business agenda items, and I'm going to limit those comments to 5 minutes as the chair. And if we also do entertain on agenda items of interest that in my mind, in our mind, we think deserve public comment or we know folks want to comment on, we'll also limit comments to 5 minutes there as well. That's actually in our policy and procedures for how we conduct our meetings. So we have been going over just a bit lately. Okay? So any public comments? Yep. Elaine, I see your hand up. Elaine Gibbs, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My comments relate to the executive session minute release. Do you want those now, or do you want to hold them until the discussion?
Yeah, well, why don't you bring those up when we look at the executive session minutes? Otherwise, it's going to be out of context, so I'll certainly allow you to do that. 5 minutes.
Okay. It's about the procedure for release, not the actual release. So thank you.
Yep.
I'll hold it.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Next item on the agenda is our request for one-day special alcohol permits from Mahi Gold, 465 Main Street. There's, I think, 10 of these, Shauna. We have Brian. Mr. Vogel?
Yes, how are you?
Good. How are you, Brian?
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for the time this evening.
You bet. So it's all yours. You can take it away. We have your package in front of us, but you're applying all, for all 10 of your opportunities, I guess, Shauna, all at once, right? Okay. It's pretty efficient. And it's October, November, December, a bunch of different dates. Open to the public? Brian?
Yeah, so it's the dates set forth are, as you laid out, they're the next 3 months. Just wanted to get ahead of it. Some of them are our own events in store with vendors just to support and drive shoulder season business. And others are in conjunction with merchant-driven events downtown with Oktoberfest and Stroll. So like you said, just wanted to do all 10 now and see if we could get everyone's approval.
Well, actually, I appreciate that, putting them all in front of us all at once. It's pretty efficient for us as well. So any questions for Brian with respect to the application? Okay. Ms. Davis?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve a special one-day alcohol license for wine and malt beverages only for Brian Vocal as representative of Mahi Gold for service at 465 Main Street on Saturday, October 8th, 2022, noon to 6, Saturday, October 22nd, 2022, noon to 8, Saturday, November 12th, 2022, noon to 6, Saturday, November 19th, 2022, noon to 6, Saturday, November 26th, 2022, noon to 6, Saturday, December 3rd, 2022, noon to 6, Friday, December 9th, 2022, noon to 10 p.m., Saturday, December 10th, 2022, noon to 8 p.m., Saturday, December 24th, 2022, noon to 5 p.m., and Saturday, December 31st, 2022, noon to 8 p.m.
Second.
Okay. Take a vote. Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Shell?
Aye.
Mr. Metters?
Aye.
And the chair says aye as well. Thank you, Brian. Thanks for your time. Have fun.
Thank you very much.
Yep, you
Appreciate
bet.
it. Take care.
Okay, the next item of business is the release of executive session minutes. This, I said kind of glibly, but it really literally is going back in time here. First, years ago, 2013, 15, 19, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we had, let's see, the first one is Fox Pond suit, August 20th, 2013. What's the select board's desire here? Take them one at a time and approve each executive session minutes? Mr. Nacastro, I'll look to you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to do that, but it might be, because especially since we have a rather short meeting, I think, tonight, but it might be more efficient just to have any board member extract a particular one for a separate conversation and then take a blanket vote on the rest of them. I do have one I wanted to extract.
And I do as well.
But you may want to, since Ms. Gibbs' question or comment relates to procedure, you might want to entertain that before we take votes anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to find the one I want to take out first. Okay. It's this one. Ms. Gibbs, you had a comment on process? You still there?
Yes, I am. Thank you very
Please.
much.
Yeah.
When this first came up in April, I had asked, the procedure currently is to simply, once you approve them, to post them in the minutes at the date of the agenda, which is a very difficult task for the public to locate. And so I had asked if it could be posted, the minutes could be posted on the town manager's page, just as decisions made by town council, so that they would all be in one place for each topic. I was told to ask for an agenda item request, which I did on May 20th. Right now, we can't find the meeting dates. If you look at, as an example, number 5, the Monomoy Refuge, there are literally 10 dates dating back to 2013. If the public doesn't have those dates, we can't find them, because you've had 500 meetings since 2013, and we would have to know the subject. In addition, when you go back, as an example, to the first one, August 20th, 2013, it says litigation, but it doesn't say Fox Pond. Sometimes it just says litigation, and that's it. So there's no way for us to find them. So I would request that you put the minutes, just like you do, as I said, for town council opinions, on the town manager's website, so that we can go in and then just go and read them. And if you can't do that, the next best thing is to post it just like it is on your agenda on the town manager's website with the dates, so that we have a place to go, so that we can then go and look up the dates in the agendas. Because we have to go back on the select board 500 meetings and find the date and then go to the meeting agenda and then go to the minutes. And it's really cumbersome, and if we don't have those dates, we can't do it. Julie Smith has no problem with it. She said, she knows where they are, but she can't, we would have to call her individually and say, where are they? So if you can work out a process where they're easily accessible to the public.
Yeah, thanks, Elaine. Shauna, and then to the board. Yep.
They're also posted as attachments to this meeting's minutes.
So you can get all the executive session minutes on this meeting. Okay, and that's pretty efficient, Elaine.
Well, the problem with that is 3 weeks from now, people have to remember that you approved them today. And then we're going to have to go back to this meeting to find them. That's the problem. Once there's some time and distance in between, we don't know when you've approved them. There has to be something on the town manager's page that says these executive session minutes were released and these are the dates of the release. Because otherwise we don't know, we can't find them. I don't know if I'm being clear, but if you just put yourself in our position, if you release these today and 3 weeks from now, somebody wants to look them up, they don't know where to go. They don't know what date this meeting was when you released them. They don't know what dates the meetings were. And as I said, you've had 500 meetings. And when you go to these meeting dates, it doesn't necessarily say Fox Pond or Monomoy or coastal storm damage. It just says litigation. So we can't find them. So there has to be a place on the website that gives these dates so that we can go to them at any time and find those dates. So then we can go and look them up.
Mr. Nicastro, you have a comment?
I think,
Question?
was the town manager planning to say something?
Jill.
Yes.
I'll wait.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we have one portal where we upload minutes, and at this point, until we do an upgrade to the system, I prefer to have all the minutes uploaded to the official portal, which is mytowngovernment.org. I know that it could be difficult to research, but with the agendas as they're posted now that have the item of litigation or the executive session title and the date, then that could be researched on our portal. But I'm not in favor of having a duplicate system. I think it's just ripe for errors, and I want to make sure that we're compliant with the records retention and open media law and using one portal until it's upgraded.
So as an alternative, as I said, can you simply, on your page, just like you do with town council, just simply have a page to go and it says executive session minutes released. It doesn't have to have the actual minutes, but it would look exactly like what's in the agenda. It would list the different topics and it would list the dates. That way we would be able to go in and look them up. But we can't, that's the only way we'll ever be able to find them. That's all I'm asking for, not to actually post the minutes. I understand concerns about not being accurate, but if you simply release what's in this agenda and have that in a document so we can go to it, then we can look it up ourselves.
I don't understand, but anyway. I'm going to punt on this one. We're going to push this one down the road a little bit. We'll talk to the clerk and we'll talk to Jill further. I don't really, you're looking for a way to ascertain what executive session minutes are where. So you're looking for an appendix or a table of contents for executive session minutes? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, just a place where we can go, click on it as a link that shows a document like this that simply says, we released these minutes, Fox Pond, August 20, 2013, and a list. Then we can take that list at any time, we click on it, and then we can go and research them ourselves. But if we don't have this, and we only know that today you released them, 3 weeks from now, people who weren't watching tonight aren't going to know you released them, and they're not going to be able to find it. Because they would have to know that it happened today and go into the minutes to find them.
Well,
It's
Miss-
very cumbersome. And so I'm just saying it would be better for the public so we can actually have the dates so we know where to look. Like I said, there's 500 meetings. And there would be no way for us to know which ones it occurred at.
Mr. Shell and then Mr. Nacastro.
I'm with you. I'm thoroughly confused, but the question, the minutes portal, is that not searchable in the conventional way?
You could search
No.
the agenda, you can search the minutes. It's just with that portal, we've had it in effect since 2010. So so at this point, we want to stay with that portal rather than looking back at day one when executive session minutes have been released. So I think with the agenda, how we have it listed here, with litigation, the name, the date, that if someone were to search, they could find it. At this point, it's not a matter of the town clerk approving what we do. We're still using her portal that she had for the last 12 years or so.
So you're saying if you searched Fox Pond suit in the portal, you would find the minutes?
I have to look up,
No, you would not. You cannot. If you do Fox Pond, it will not show up. There is no search inside the minutes. That's the problem. So if you do Fox Pond or Monomoy Wildlife, you will not get those minutes. There's no way to search it.
Okay.
That's the issue.
Mr. Nacastro.
Yeah, just a couple of things. What we're calling the portal is basically the town clerk's official list of.
it's the town's official posting where we post minutes,
Yes.
agenda packets, like tonight's packet is on that portal.
Yes, and that's the platform that the town clerk is happy with, and we've agreed that that's the official record of the town. So with respect to the captioning of these, as you point out, Jill, we have, within the past year or so, as a result of I'm sorry, farther back than that, we had an open meeting law complaint about how something was captioned some years ago relating to the FAA. So we now put we now designate what the litigation is, for example, or what the real estate is, unless there's some countervailing reason. So just to clarify that. The other point I would make is that under our recently adopted protocol, we're reviewing these quarterly. I mean, there may be occasions where we're doing them in between. So this is the first of this new protocol we're doing tonight. I guess what I wanted to suggest, since Ms. Gibbs is requesting some sort of place where a citizen could go to see the list of what was approved in October or next January or whatever, whether that's something that Jill, you and Shauna could discuss and maybe come back and report back to see whether that's doable, whether that's a list that's put on attached to the select board page or whatever. It wouldn't contain the minutes themselves. It would just,
To that point too, Dean, I think we should have a cadence where it's the first meeting of the new quarter or the second meeting of the new quarter where we review executive session minutes. And so just the same way Corey announces openings, and the same way we have interviews on the first Thursday of every month. I think that would be useful for the public, so that they can access executive session minutes, with regularity, because we haven't been regular with them. We haven't.
no.
We haven't.
And we need to be.
We do.
Now, if there are reasons why and I totally get it, we don't want to have something on the non-portal site, webpage, that might be different from what's in the official portal, and that would be confusing to people. But if all we're talking about is the list of the particular minutes that were without, including the text, the content of the minutes. Is that something that you can think about and discuss?
You know, we can certainly take it under consideration, but it won't be complete. It would take a substantial effort to look back at what minutes were.
I would say
What I
going
would
forward.
suggest-
Let's
what I-
start it now.
Well, what I would suggest, though, is I rather invest in upgrading the portal that's searchable for every minute, every agenda. And I think that is on our plan to do. It hasn't been effectuated yet. So I just, you know me, I don't say no too much. I'm just really reluctant to have two different sites with even a listing that might not be accurate. And even if we move forward, then that's not providing, I think, that the context that's requested. I think that what we can do is try to work, when we have funding available to upgrade the portal, it's just that it's our official town posting page, and it's a little more complicated. So Shauna's posted the minutes with the litigation, the date and time. I think at this time, this is the best that we're going to be able to do, but certainly we'll take it under consideration. And if we can't get this platform upgraded in the next year, then we're going to have to figure out a plan B for that.
I certainly think a searchable portal is the way to go. I absolutely support that.
Yeah, I agree.
Mr. Shell, I think you.
I will endorse what the town manager just said. I think we've got to a point here in this discussion that we're sort of trying to design a solution that we're not really with the expertise equipped to do. And I'm happy to have the town manager and the staff go back and recognizing their sympathy for the problem, at the same time, see if there's anything that can be done that doesn't run afoul of the things that have been articulated as obstacles.
Thank you, Mr. Shell. Anybody else? Okay. Corey?
Could I just make one more statement?
I've got Corey and then back to you, Elaine. Corey.
No. From what I understand about this, or what I'm reading into it is, especially with some of the older litigations, maybe some of the clarity of the topic wasn't as clear as it could have been way back, and we've obviously made many remedies on that moving forward. So these are more applicable to older minutes. But if we could do anything short term and absolutely in the long term to make the product more searchable, I would be fully supportive of that, because I'm sure it's very frustrating to kind of hunt and peck some of this stuff. And if we can kind of get a better process in place, I'm all for that.
There you go. Elaine, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, just one more thing. Again, just to be clear, all I'm asking for is not to go outside of the scope of what you've done tonight. It's simply to take what is in your agenda that you are going to be voting on, so it's part of the agenda. You approve that, and then you simply, delete the ones you don't want approved, and you just put that as a link on the select board's page. And this is an interim measure until, a year from now when you get the system figured out. I would urge you all to try and go and make believe you don't have these dates and try and go in and find them on the website, on the agendas, and you won't be able to find them. So you'll understand what I'm trying to say. You guys are given the hard copies, so you don't have to search for them. But just make believe you don't have those and try and find them, and you won't be able to.
Okay.
And that's all I'm asking. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Elaine. Yep. Okay, so we've got some executive session minutes to move and approve. I do have one that I want to pull out. It's May 30th, 2017 on the Comprehensive Conservation Plan, Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge. Just the vote is wrong, but.
That's the same one I wanted to pull.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. All right, so we'll take a motion to approve these executive session minutes, if it's okay. Mr. Shell?
Yeah,
Except for
are
that
we
one.
approving the minutes or approving the release of the minutes?
Both.
Both.
Because I have an edit to the minutes before I will approve the release of those minutes. Okay? All right, so motion to approve and release except for May 30th, 2017.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the executive session minutes as presented, minus those for May 30th, 2017, and the release of them, and I will read what they are.
Please.
Number 1, litigation, Fox Pond suit, August 20th, 2013. Number 2, litigation, workman's compensation suit, May 19th, 2015. Number 3, Mass Commission Against Discrimination suit, February 25, 2019. Number 4, litigation, coastal storm damage / emergency dredging / appeal of DEP superseding amended order, April 2nd, 2018, August 15, 2018, August 26, 2019. Number 5, Comprehensive Conservation Plan, Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge, April 2nd, 2013, January 21, 2014, March 10, 2015, November 10, 2015, February 16, 2016, April 5, 2016, July 26, 2016, October 25th, 2016, and July 1, 2019.
Second.
Okay. Let's vote on those. Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Shell?
Abstain.
And Mr. Metters?
Aye.
And the chair does say aye as well. And Mr. Nacastro, comments on May 30th. Let's see if we, yeah, please, yeah.
I wanted to change one word. I discussed this with... Thank you. I wanted to change just one word on page 2 of those minutes. I discussed this with Shauna, who went back to her notes. This is the sentence, this is the 4th paragraph. It's a single sentence. It says, access to officials through non-traditional channels was discussed. I want to change the word non-traditional to different. That's the only edit I have. Oh, I'm sorry, also, in the paragraph above, it says Senator Keating. It should be Representative Keating.
Right. Good catch. And then on the vote, Shauna, I was there, so I think I ought to be listed as voting. I remember it clearly. I was on the phone, I think. I was on the phone, yep. I remember the discussion distinctly. Okay, and we'll move those minutes, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the executive session minutes from May 30th, 2017 as amended and their release.
And I'll second. Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Shell?
Abstain.
Mr. Metters?
Aye.
And the chair says aye as well. Thank you very much. Okay, next item of business is committee appointments, Traffic Safety Committee and Cultural Council. Entertain, we have Mr. Mark Hoffman, who was interviewed on September 27th for the Traffic Safety Committee. The motion does say the open space, so let's make sure we say traffic safety, because that's the committee he interviewed for. So, Mr. Shell, yep.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Mark Hoffman to the Traffic Safety Committee until June 30, where are we here? June 30, 2025, unless sooner revoked or a successor is appointed.
A second?
I'll second it.
Yes.
Can I ask a question? Shauna, does that committee have alternates? I didn't realize it did. Just one, and it's unfilled at the present time?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, move, second?
I did second.
You second, okay. Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Shell?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
And the chair says aye as well. We have Mr. Richard Finnegan for the Cultural Council. Mr. Metters?
Yes, I move to appoint Richard Finnegan to the Cultural Council through June 30th, 2023, unless sooner revoked or a successor is appointed.
Second.
Okay, a vote. Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Shell?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
And the chair says aye as well. Thank you very much. At this time, we are going to adjourn the Select Board meeting and convene a meeting of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Shell?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
And the chair says aye. And we're going to entertain a motion to go into executive session. Mr. Nacastro?
Mr. Chairman, I think you first have to convene the
Convene.
trust in an
I'd like
open
to call the
session,
meeting of
and
the
then we
Affordable-
take a vote to go into executive session.
Thank you
I'm
very
happy
much.
offer
I'd like
that
to
motion.
convene the meeting of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Take a roll call. Mr. Metters,
Present.
Mr. Shell,
Present.
Ms. Davis,
Present.
Mr. Nacastro.
Present.
And the chair is present as well. Mr. Bean? And do we have Ms., she is not on, Ms. Story?
She was unable to make it.
Unable to make it, okay. All right, so, Mr. Nacastro.
Mr. Chairman, so the agenda says, I'm going to read the agenda item, and then I'll
Please.
make a motion. It says, the only item on the agenda as posted is to go into executive session under Massachusetts General Laws 30A, Section 21, Number 6. So I'll offer the motion. I move that the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees goes into executive session under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Number 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, taking, lease, or value of real property, parenthesis, 0 Meeting House Road, close parenthesis, if such discussion may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the governmental body with no return to open session.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Thank you,
Second.
Mr. Shell. Take a vote, Mr. Bean. Aye. Chair says aye. Mr. Bean, go ahead again. Aye. Thank you. Chair says aye. Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Shell?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Nacastro?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Good night, Chatham.